Hey everyone, Mike here, and we're back for another deep dive. Hopefully this one's going to be worth your time. And we're going to be continuing this blog series, 50 Mistakes, Why Most Hotels Fail and How You Can Succeed.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this is particularly relevant for Indian hotel owners.
Yeah, especially this week. This week, the author Arun Kumar Raman, he calls this mistake, it's a silent profit killer, and it's basically neglecting your repeat guests.
You know what's really interesting to me is how much effort hotels put into getting new guests, but
Yeah.
then they kind of forget about all those happy customers that could be coming back.
Yeah, it's almost like they're filling up a bucket with a hole in the bottom right.
Absolutely.
All that work to get those new bookings. But then, without a system to keep them coming back, it's just revenue going right out the door.
And it's so much more expensive to attract a new guest than it is to keep an existing one happy. Arun actually says it's 5 times more expensive.
Oh, 5 times. I mean, that's a huge difference.
It is.
So what makes it so much more costly to get those new guests in the door?
Well, you have to think about it. You've already built trust with your repeat guest. They know your hotel. They like the service. They're comfortable with your brand. To bring a new guest to that level of comfort, it takes so much more time and money and effort.
So you've already got the foundation. You just have to build on it instead of starting over.
Yeah.
With every single guest.
Exactly. And there's something else that's really important that Arun points out, which is that even satisfied guests tend to forget about your hotel if there aren't any incentives for them to come back.
Yeah, I mean, competition is fierce out there.
Right.
Everyone's online these days.
Exactly.
It's easy to get distracted by something shiny and new.
Absolutely.
So just providing a good experience, it's not enough anymore.
It's not.
You have to actively encourage those guests to come back.
That's where a good loyalty program can really be a game changer.
Yeah, you give them a reason to choose you over the competition. Speaking of game changers, Arun actually highlights a really great case study in his blog post. It's about a boutique hotel in Yercaud, Tamil Nadu, and they were struggling with low occupancy.
And what's amazing is that they were able to turn their business around with a really simple loyalty program.
So what did they do?
Well, it was pretty straightforward. Guests could earn points for every booking, and they could redeem those points for discounts or room upgrades.
Okay, so the classic points and perks system.
Yeah, but they also did something else. They really understood the importance of personalization. So after every stay, guests would receive a personalized thank you email.
It's the little things
Yeah.
that make people feel valued.
Right.
Like they're not just another transaction.
And the results were impressive. They saw a 40% increase in repeat bookings in just 1 year.
40%. That's huge.
It is, especially for a small hotel in a competitive market.
I mean, that's pretty powerful proof. That building relationships with your guests, it really does pay off. But I'm sure there are some hotel owners out there who are thinking, well, I don't know about all this. What about the cost? How am I going to manage all of this?
And those are valid concerns, but that's what's so interesting about this blog post. Arun actually addresses those concerns head on.
Okay, so he lays out a plan for how to do this
Yeah.
without it being a logistical nightmare or breaking the bank.
Exactly.
Okay, I am very intrigued, so let's unpack all of that in the next part of our deep dive.
Arun's main point is that the increase in bookings that you get from a loyalty program and all the positive word of mouth, that more than makes up for the cost of setting it up in the first place.
So you're saying those discounts and freebies you're giving out, they actually bring in more business?
Yeah, in the long run.
Okay, so it's more like an investment
Yeah, exactly.
than just an expense.
You're investing in those relationships with your guests.
And hopefully those relationships pay off.
And the best part is that technology has made it so much easier to manage these programs.
So we're not talking about like stacks of index cards
Yeah.
and spreadsheets anymore.
No. Thank goodness.
There are all kinds of software options out there that can really do the heavy lifting for you.
So even a smaller hotel with limited resources, they could do this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's great. But I think people want to know, like, what are the actual steps to building one of these programs?
Well, first you need to figure out what kind of rewards will really appeal to your guests.
Okay, so think about your ideal guest.
Yeah.
What would make them want to come back?
Right? Are they looking for discounts, free spa treatments,
Yeah.
room upgrades, maybe something unique to your region?
So it's all about understanding who you're trying to attract.
Put yourself in your guests' shoes.
Yeah.
What would make them feel valued?
Yeah, what would make them choose you over all the other options out there?
Okay, so once you've figured out your rewards, then you need a system for tracking guest stays and managing those rewards.
So like a points-based system, that's always popular. Or you could do a tiered membership program where guests unlock more benefits as they move up the ladder.
Okay, so keep it simple. Make it
Exactly.
easy to understand.
Both for your staff and your guests.
Right. You don't want to create this big, complicated system.
That just ends up confusing everybody.
And speaking of keeping it simple, let's not forget about those personal touches,
Absolutely.
like a handwritten thank you note.
A genuine expression of gratitude can go a long way.
Yeah, it shows you care.
And don't forget about personalization. Use your guest data to tailor your offers to their individual preferences.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely gotten those emails. You know, where they suggest similar destinations.
Oh,
Or room types.
exactly. It shows you're paying attention.
Oh, so we've talked about the rewards, tracking guest stays, personalizing communication.
Well, promotion. Promote the program.
Make sure people know about it.
Put on your website, social media, even mention it at checkout.
Got it. So make it clear that you value their loyalty and you're willing to reward them for it.
Yeah, exactly. And don't just set it and forget it.
Okay, what do you mean?
You have to monitor the program, track your repeat booking rates, get feedback from your guests, and be willing to adjust.
So it's a process.
It is.
Not just a one-time thing.
You have to keep improving it
To make it more effective.
and more rewarding for your guests.
So it's all about building that community
Yes,
of loyal guests who want to keep coming back.
absolutely.
Well, this has been incredibly helpful. We've covered a lot of ground. And I think our listeners have a lot to think about. It's funny, we always talk about the hospitality industry, but I think loyalty programs are about more than just being hospitable. It's really about building those relationships.
Yeah, you want your guests to know that you value them and their business.
Right. You don't want them to feel like you're taking them for granted,
Exactly. And when you make them feel like they're part of something special,
like a community.
yeah, like a community of travelers who all appreciate what your hotel has to offer.
Then they become your best advocates.
Absolutely. They go out and tell their friends and family about you.
That's the best kind of marketing.
It really is.
And it's something you can't buy. Arun actually talks about that in his blog, The Power of Word of Mouth.
Think about it. One guest has a great stay at your hotel, and they go home and tell 5 friends. And then those friends each tell a couple of their friends. And suddenly you've reached a whole new audience without spending any money on advertising.
It's a chain reaction.
And that's the beauty of a loyalty program.
It turns your guests into your biggest fans. So before we wrap up, I have to ask you, if you could give our listeners just one piece of advice, one thing they could do today to start building guest loyalty, what would it be?
Start small. You don't need to create a huge, complicated program right away. Just pick one simple reward, like a discount on their next booking, or maybe a free breakfast. And start tracking your guest stays.
Just take that first step.
And be consistent. Even small gestures can make a big difference over time.
Well said. And for those of you who want to learn more, be sure to check out Arun Kumar Raman's blog series, 50 Mistakes, Why Most Hotels Fail and How You Can Succeed. It's packed with great advice, specifically for Indian hotel owners.
It's a great resource.
And be sure to share your own tips and experiences with us. What are some creative ways that you found to build loyalty with your guests? You can leave a comment on our website or connect with us on social media.
We love hearing from you.
That's all for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.